And Assalamualaikum. I am NURUL FATEHAH and I'll be presenting my project for this design studio. This is a recorded presentation, so in case if you have anything to ask, you may pause the video and I'll try to answer to you directly. So to start off, my project is called the IUKL Youth Prime Hostel. Its name was based on the target users, and the prime stands for the main accommodation building that will be in IUKL area. The idea is to make this accommodation building as a building where the student can interlink with each other by providing some spaces that they can share together regardless of their gender, faculty, or races. So to simplify, the goal is to propose a building for the student to accommodate, but at the same time, the students can have full utilization of the building spaces. I also did try to separate the spaces between the public, semi-public, and private spaces, so the interlink approach can be applied well to my building. So here is my first board. As you can see here, my board is very straightforward and simple. I tried to make my board as simple as I could because I want people to understand well all of my drawings. So here is the 3D view, and the 3D view itself is not rendered in the way that all the renderings always be. I try to make this collage architecture approach to my building. So yeah, here it is. And here is the key plan. Here is the location plan. And obviously the client is Infrastructure University Kuala Lumpur, IUKL. Next, I will start with my site planning. For the site planning, the first diagram, it shows that the female block is located that way. Why do I want to implement this orientation to this female block? It is because I think it is crucial for the female blocks to have a very high level of privacy instead for the male block. So yeah, that is why the female block is orientated that way. The second diagram is where I show the male block. This is actually the main facade of the building. So the male block is directly facing the junction, unlike the female blocks. And the third diagram is the entrance, or where the lobby and the security area are located at. And here is the sun path. The sun path is traveling from the east to west. So here is the east side, and this is the west side. This is the good view of this side, and this is the wind direction. The wind is going from this way to this way. Next is the massing studies. So for the massing studies, I started with a single rectangle block and a square block. So then the massing volume is divided into two different parts. And as I mentioned earlier, I really want a high level privacy between the male and the female students. So one different block, but with the same intention, is created to create a balanced building layout. And then the blocks are then separated again to some smaller blocks, because from the brief requirements, we do need to include some of other facilities as well, not just rooms for the students, but also we need to provide the facilities like surau, gymnasium, multi-purpose room, and so on. And next is the same method is also applied to another blocks. Also, I added up some of the small tiny blocks here and there because I want the building to have not just a normal hostel layout. And lastly, two different blocks separating the female and male blocks are created, but the blocks are actually linked together at the middle of the building. And I'll move on to my site plan. This is my site plan. If you really pay attention to what my class representative has already showed about our site, but if you forgot, I will try to shortly brief about the site again. So at the most right part of the site is the Lebuh Raya No, it's Plus Highway. It's Plus Highway. And here is the building of Lembaga Lebuh Raya Malaysia. And here is the MPH Hall of IUKL. And this is the new IUKL Hostel Management Office. And here is the Unipark Surya condominium. This is also a accommodation provided for the student of IUKL, but this condominium is also being residence by other people as well that works in Bangi or Kajang. So yeah, that's about the site. And moving on to my my road circulation. So this is the ingress of the car or the motorcycle or maybe the bicycles. So the car will go from here, from this road to here, and they can drop off the people here. And after the drop off, maybe they want to exit the building, they may use this exit road. Or maybe if the person itself is living in this hostel, they can use this road and then just use this road to go to the sub-basement. Or maybe after they drop off the people, they change their mind, they might want to go to somewhere else, they may use this another egress. And then this is the bus bay for the bus. And here is the service road to loading bay. I try to make a huge difference between the car road and for the road used for the lorry, because I don't want the circulation of the services to be interrupted, because maybe emergency maintenance or any emergency will occur there, so they just can use the separated road. And then to the next board. For my next board, the second board is where you can see the axonometric floor plans. I know you cannot see as clear as I could of these axonometric plans, but I think you can really see that between the ground first and second, they are mostly the same. Actually, the first and second floor is almost the same. Only the third floor is quite special, and I will explain about it later. And then I move on to the space zoning. The space zoning here is the female block, the connecting block, the male block. As I already mentioned from my first board, why and what I want to implement for the block itself. And here is the precedent study. The first precedent study that I use is the Limpopo Youth Hostel. I really like how the architect approaches with their local materials to be put as the facade of their building. So I think it is quite interesting too if I implement that local material to my building, because we as Malaysian, as soon as we see any wood or any timber, we will quickly recall it. It is like it's the Malaysian identity. We have a very wide range of timber and wood material, right? So I think it is very appropriate if I use that material for my building itself. And then the next study is the San Joaquin villages. The San Joaquin villages also is I think it is a very interesting approach too by the architects, because they really separate all of the buildings all together, but at the same time the user itself can interlink with each other. So that is what I want to apply to my building itself. And then this is the sectional perspective. So for the sectional perspective, I know it's quite actually I will have to conclude the sub-basement area, but I didn't, because I think what I want to show is what's the most important part of the building. So here it is, my spaces inside this building in sectional perspective. And here is just the sub-basement plan. So for the sub-basement plans, there are 50 car parks and 2 car parks for OKU and 50 for motorcycle. Next is the most, I think this is the core of my building, where I really want to show and explain what and why the spaces are there. Okay, here. Okay. I'm really sorry that the resolution is very low. I just don't know how to do it anymore. So this is just what I came up with. So number one is the lobby. The lobby is very minimum in size because I do not want the lobby to be the place where the people gather. That is not my intention. That is not how I want my building to be circulated with. So the lobby will be just a place for the security to be placed at, and the elevators for the users. And then number two is water tank and pump room. Number three is MSB room, SDF room, and number five is TNB substation. And this is the spaces, the layout for the rooms. Number six is the single room. 7 is the quad sharing room, and number 8 is twin sharing room. And the first and second floor is just the same, but without the services, without the services room. First and second. Okay. Next is my third floor plan, which I really like. So as you can see here, my building, all of the activities punya spaces are held here at the third floor plan, at the third floor level. So why I will just explain later, but I will show you the spaces with its number. So number 9 is the multi-purpose room. Number 10 is the student lounge. 11 is the entrepreneur kiosk area number 1. 12 is the laundry room. 13 is warden room for meal. 14 is gymnasium. 15 is entrepreneur kiosk area number 2. And 16 is mini recreational area. 17 is warden's room for female. And 18 and 19 is surau for female and male respectively. So what I try to implement is I want my ground floor, first floor, and second floor to have a very high level of privacy. So if the students want to have any discussion, study group, or any activities that they want or might need the collaboration between the female and female, the male and the female student, they can just do the activities here without interrupting all of the activities at the ground level, first floor, and second floor. And then as the activities, most of the activities will link here. I think it is very, very, very important to make the surroundings feels good. So because I did some research that whenever a person or people regulate on top of the building, they could see a full view of the area for themselves and breathe good air. So I think it's very nice to have the spaces there. Maybe at night the students can gather together and have some discussion there, and while buying the foods at the kiosk area, so that the students at the ground floor, first floor, and second floor will not be interrupted. So this is just the roof plan, and here is the elevation. The west elevation is the front elevation, east elevation is the rear elevation, and this is the north elevation and south elevation. Okay. This is just the perspective. This is the sections. This is the sections of the building. This one and this one with grids and floor level. Here is the blow up detail of my building. And the fire staircase, lift motor room, fire staircase radius, and emergency assembly points. And lastly, this is the interior floor plan with some measurements to it. You can see clearly the measurements here and there. And then this is the perspective, quad sharing room perspective, twin sharing room perspective, and single room interior perspective. So that is all from me. If you have any question, you may ask me.